for me, that's no excuse for you to pass it along.
Right, absolutely, I agree.
So it's like, okay, so because you were taught that, so now I got to go through this, and you know it's not right. So why would you put me through it?
Yeah.
So don't do it. Just make, to me, it became a no-brainer. Like, if I know it wasn't good for me, why would I want to give it to them?
Everybody, welcome back to another episode of Woman at the Well. I am your host, Carla Compton. It is indeed my pleasure to have you stop by and check out my podcast. I really do greatly appreciate it. I hope everybody is doing well. If you have not already subscribed to my channel, I want to encourage you to do so. I think it's going to be a blessing to you, and also share it out to your family, your friends, your loved ones, and even maybe your enemy, because I think they may need to be encouraged as well. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to jump right into this episode. As you recall, I've been doing this series talking to different women about their journey, their Woman at the Well journey, their experience, their encounter with Jesus. And so today is not going to be any different. I have a special guest into my studio today, and I'm so excited to talk to her. I'm just really excited to talk to her today. I think she has a story to tell, and it's going to be an encouragement to you. So, Woman at the Well audience, please help me welcome to the studio for the very first time, Sonya Lynn.
Hi, welcome everyone.
Well, Sonya, thank you so much. I appreciate you saying yes.
Thank you.
I really do. Thank you for saying yes, being willing to share your story with the world.
Well, thank you
today.
for you.
So we're going to go ahead and get started. So just tell us a little bit about Sonya, about yourself.
There's not a whole lot to tell.
Okay.
I have 3 children, 3 grown children now.
Okay.
Their ages are 21, 23, and 25.
Okay.
And I am divorced now. Well, mainly now I am in the life where I'm now focusing more on uplifting the kingdom.
Yes. Okay.
I've been doing that now for a while. But I'm even more so doing it even stronger now.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just something I want and need and know that all of us need to do.
Absolutely.
And should be doing.
Absolutely.
So that's where my head is now, is just really uplifting the kingdom. So that's what I spend a good majority of my time doing.
Come on.
As a divorcee, with 3 grown children now, because they're not young kids anymore. So
Yeah.
I have more time to just really delve into that.
Okay.
And so that's what I'm doing now. So that's what the majority of my life is like now at this stage in the game. Of course, it was a lot of different before that, but
Okay, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna get into all that. I realized you had 3 children.
yes, I have 3 grown children.
Okay. What are they? Boy, girl?
I have 2 girls and a boy.
2 girls and a boy. That's what I have. I didn't know that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
To tell you guys something too, Sonya is part of my small group, and that's where I met her. And so she's a powerful woman, and that's really why I wanted to have her on my podcast to kind of tell her story. But I didn't realize that you had 3. I always thought it was just one. I don't know why I thought 1 daughter, but you have 2 daughters and 1 son. Okay. Okay. I love it. Okay, we're going to go ahead and dive into it. So I want to understand even more about you. So tell me about your childhood, how that was for you growing up.
Well, as a childhood, I feel like I was kind of the outcast of the family, kind of the different one, the black sheep.
Black
one.
sheep.
I was the middle child.
Okay.
So I was more the quiet one. I was very observant, and I feel I am still that way.
Okay.
I just like to observe different stuff and study it.
Okay.
I don't know. I've just always been that way. I don't know. I mean, I'll look at tags and remember the tag numbers. I can give you a tag number of somebody's car right now and know exactly the make and model and where they're driving.
Get out.
Yes, I do.
my
I
goodness.
remember stuff like that very well. There's certain stuff I can remember that I'm even shocked of from way back when, and I can visualize it.
What do you think your earliest childhood memory was? What your age? Do you know? Just
Yeah,
curious. I just want to know that. 5. Okay.
5 years old. Just looking and remembering stuff and studying it and visualizing and wondering why. And I'm the kind that sit and count stuff. Like I'll sit and count, oh, she's got 3 butterflies.
Yeah.
And if I see more, I'll just sit and study it and count them.
Wow.
Just like to count stuff and just look at them. But as a child, I mean, that's just what I was doing, along with a lot of other stuff. And I was always asking questions about different stuff. I was very inquisitive. I just wanted to know stuff and why.
Okay.
What is this for? What are you doing? Why? I think that's what got me interested in, learning about the God things and stuff. Kind of early, because I got started by being hell scared. That's what got me started, just by being hell scared.
So did you grow up with a family, a mother, father, siblings?
I did, but I feel it was a broken, well, I don't feel, I know it was a broken home.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I grew up with both parents. They were together, then they separated, divorced, then got back together.
Got it.
It was a broken home, in my opinion. I mean, when you're a child and you see that, I mean, that's just what you know.
Yeah.
We wasn't the huggy type family. So I notice I'm not huggy type even now. Like I'll go and see a family. We don't, hey, how you doing? Give each other a hug.
Got it.
Because, and I mean, I noticed that I don't never say anything, but it's just certain stuff because, okay, we grew up doing this. So that just, it's not right, I don't think, but that's just how they are.
So you do have siblings?
Yes, I do.
Okay, how many siblings do you have?
An older sister and a younger brother.
Okay. So it's just two girls and one boy, like
so
you.
It's 3 of us.
Okay, like you have. Okay. Gotcha.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
We kept my mother.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
she had 2 girls and a boy.
Okay.
And I did the same thing.
Okay.
So yeah, but I didn't grow up with a close-knit family at all.
Yeah.
We were not close-knit at all. And, I always tell one of my coworkers, because, she tells me about her family and where they going on trips and stuff. I'm like, can y'all adopt me? I wish we were doing that.
Yeah.
I always tell her, my family is so different from yours because we don't do that. She has a very close-knit family.
Yeah.
But mine's were not.
So you think that affected you? That's affected you even in your adult life?
Yes. I think, yes. Things you are used to or have gone through in the past, yes, it does affect you in a very big way.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's so much of what you're used to and accustomed to, and then thinking it's right, they're never telling you it's not right. It's just what they're doing. You know how you just grow up and it's just what we do. So you think, okay, that's okay, even if when later on it's not okay.
Gotcha.
But it's just something you're accustomed to doing because you've done it for so long. The not closeness, and you seeing it elsewhere. You going out and seeing everything else, different. Good
so
or
you
bad, but
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. So you think that's what made you be kind of withdrawn, kind of quiet,
yes, I do. Yes,
okay.
I do. Yes, I do. Because it's, it wasn't even easy for me to ask questions growing up. Because I felt like I would be judged. And I was.
By your parents?
Because I gave my mother an example once of what I was judged for, school grades. I feel like, honestly, she has a tendency to look at the bad and focus on the bad. Well, what about this? I did great in this subject. I'm not good in this. So of course I didn't do good in this area.
Yeah.
And my report card wasn't even that bad. But you rather focus on what I didn't do good in than what I did good in. So it was no encouragement to help you to go on and do better.
Right.
Because motivation and encouragement and support goes a long way.
Absolutely.
Whether you think so or
Absolutely.
not. That helps a lot.
Yeah.
Especially when it's coming from a parent.
Absolutely.
And if a parent is the one telling you you didn't do so good, or you hear the words dumb, or you hear the words you're not smart, what do you think they're going to carry that with later on? They're going to carry that with them. Coming from you as a parent, yes, they're going to think that's. And then, but my prayer and hope is that they don't carry that with them. Hopefully they come out and know that that is not the truth. You're not that.
Right.
And I know now I'm not that at all.
Amen.
But I just think it's sad when a parent does focus on so much of the negative of what you do and don't encourage you. And then you have to hear it from outside, and you don't even know these other people. They're not, you don't know them. They're strangers pretty much. But they're the ones who are speaking more positive and good things into you.
Right.
Speaking life in honesty.
Right.
And you're getting the opposite from at home. And then people are wondering why you messed up. That's why you're messed up.
Wow.
That's why you're messed up.
That's deep stuff right there.
That's messed up.
You ever had a conversation with your mom or your parents about that at all?
She even said, and this is why we don't really get along that well at all.
Yeah.
Because my thinking now is so much different than hers. And we talked about, because, I went on to college and advanced my degree and everything. And she said, well, I helped you go to college. You did not help me go to college. What are you saying? What do you mean you helped me go to college?
Yeah.
You didn't even know I was going to college. What do you mean you helped me go to college?
Yeah.
And then she'll talk about how this elementary teacher, where this teacher really got on me about studying and doing this. She was a good teacher. Okay, yeah, she may be a good teacher. But I was a good student as well.
Yeah. And you needed to hear that.
I was one of her good students, if you think about it.
Wow.
And for the most part, I did very well in school, as time went on. So, but I told her, I said, because she didn't even know I had even went on to get an advanced degree until I actually told her. And she had no bearing on me going to college at all. They couldn't even afford college. I actually had to help. I actually went to work to kind of, help with some college pay at the time. Even back then, it was still hard with college and stuff. So I ended up taking on a job and then going to a college that I didn't really want to go to. I wanted to go to a major university.
Okay.
But we couldn't afford that. Yeah. There's no way they couldn't afford that at the time. So I just went to another, college that was less expensive. And I was working too. And just kind of help with that. So I learned a lot on my own just growing up. I wasn't the type of kid to go to camp. And I told him, I said, we didn't do any of that. Because my son was also in this conversation listening, because I wanted him to know.
Oh, okay.
You was able to do X, Y, Z. I didn't get to do any of this.
Yeah.
I was doing stuff on my own. I had to be independent and go here and there and always out on my own. My sister helped me learn to drive. We was helping each other, and I was driving here and there and just going different places and just doing different things. We didn't go to camps. We didn't go to conferences and stuff. I did all that on my own. The parents didn't really encourage or help us do anything.
Wow.
They just really worked, and my mother, did her house stuff. But as far as, getting, helping your kids and really making sure that they, become successful and know how to get into the world and do what they need to do. Plum F in my book in that area. No, I don't. No, we didn't. No. I didn't get none of that.
None of that.
And as far, I had to look for my own jobs and know how to do resumes on my own, interviewing. I researched and did all that on my own back then. It was so much different back then with the technology and stuff.
Right, for sure.
So I had to learn all that on my own.
On your own. Okay.
And then I just taught it all. So everything was so much different with my kids. It was like the opposite. I make sure I tell them you're beautiful. I don't care what, and they are.
Yeah.
And I tell you, I'm not telling you this to just tell you.
Yeah.
I actually mean it. And now they hear it. I said, you are. I said, don't you let nobody tell you anything else.
Yeah.
And then I speak, the word of God into them.
Yeah.
And I help them, tell them about praying, is how important it is to pray. I've even written a book about prayer.
Oh, okay.
And I told them that, and I just speaking to them, about things that I know I did not get at all.
And I was gonna say though, it's amazing to me that parents or children that go through what you described, or even worse, that some of those people end up being exactly the same way that their parents were, and then some run from it and be like a polar opposite of what their parents were. And it sounds like to me that you're saying that you were kind of that polar opposite of what your parents were, because you wanted to make sure that you gave to your kids what you did not get from your parents.
Yes, exactly.
So I think that's a beautiful thing that you chose to do the opposite instead of doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself sometimes though, some of those, if you don't push it down, some of those tendencies want to come up,
yes,
and you want to be like, what you experienced?
Yes, and I think Satan is really using that area. Yes. Yeah. I do, because it's so it was so embedded in you then, because it was so much of what you were used to. Yeah, it does stir up.
Yeah,
and we have a choice, and I think you need to just make sure, and it's not right. So I say, if change it.
You're right.
Do something. Just do it.
Right. But then you have to think about though, what did your parents go through?
Yeah.
How their parents treated them. So those things are in them. Those demons, if you would, that's in them that they're fighting against. It goes on generationally sometimes until somebody says, "I'm gonna stop it," and it seems like you were the one that stopped it. So let me just ask this question though. So you're talking about this. So what was your exposure to God or to church or Jesus during that time as a kid? Did you know anything about him, heard anything about him?
I didn't.
Okay.
Well, I did hear some things, but I didn't know anything about it, and that's what made me question.
Okay.
And I do want to say, just to piggyback on as far as the growing up thing and changing, I'm sure they've experienced a lot, and they did. But for me, that's no excuse for you to pass it along.
Right, absolutely, I agree.
So it's like, okay, so because you were taught that, so now I got to go through this, and it's not right. So why would you put me through it?
Yeah.
So don't do it. Just make, to me, it became a no-brainer. Like, if I know it wasn't good for me, why would I want to give it to them?
That's a good question, but a lot of people find themselves in that situation, though. They kind of repeat the same thing that they've experienced.
Yeah, it's like, I can't.
Yeah.
And I guess, molestation is a good example.
Yeah.
If I know how damaging that was to me, there's no way in the world I would want to put it to my own child. Right. No.
I understand that.
And that will make you fight against that.
Right.
Even more so. Yeah. I just don't understand. I mean, I know it's in you, but why is it even in you? You shake it off. Don't. I just don't. That part, I don't.
I completely understand. I completely understand what you're saying, but it's just like, but there's so many people are doing that. And then some of them say, I don't want to be this person.
Yeah.
It happens. Yeah. And so sometimes it's not as easy as saying, just don't do it. It's not, because sometimes that trauma is so deep.
I understand.
And you got to get some therapy, some counseling, some deliverance, some Jesus. It takes a whole lot more. Some people, for some reason, it's easier, like, oh, I'm not doing that, and you walk away from it. But some people, it is really a strong battle that you really do need some help, some psychological help. Again, some deliverance. You got to have that. So I want to make sure it doesn't come across to anybody that we're being like judgmental, like just change it, because it's not easy.
Absolutely, I understand.
But if you see that it's an issue, you've got to be willing to get some help.
Yeah, and I do pray for those individuals that they do get the help, because I don't want to feel like I'm punishing someone because of what I went through.
Right.
So yeah, I do pray. I understand that though. I do pray. Because we don't want to definitely be judgmental of whatever someone else is going through.
Yeah.
I just wholeheartedly say pray and be serious about the prayer.
Right.
Because it can change.
It can change
what they're going through.
Right. And that's what I want them to hear, that it can change.
Yes.
We acknowledge that it's hard. We acknowledge that it's an issue. We acknowledge that it's trauma that you're dealing with. But at least get to the point where you realize, oh my God, this is an issue. I need help. Ain't nothing wrong with saying I need help.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. That's the first sign.
It's not as easy as just saying, I'm just going to be better. I'm just going to do this. I'm going to make a decision, because believe me, we talked about how the devil is, if he knows that thing is an issue with you, I mean, he's coming He's going to use it. His goal, I'm not trying to preach, but I feel it. But his goal is not just to destroy you, but the next generation.
Absolutely.
And the next generation. So it's more than just about you.
Absolutely.
It's about your children and your children's children. And so that's why it's important for you to just acknowledge that you need some help. And we're going to talk about who that help is. We know it comes from God and God alone.
Yes.
Amen.
Amen.
Girl.
But my encounter as a young person, like I said, I heard about God.
Yeah.
But I knew absolutely nothing. About, what God was about, or who he was, or just nothing. So again, I was just asking. I never went to my parents. I couldn't go to my parents for stuff like that.
Because you didn't think they knew anything about it?
Not only that, they just weren't go-to people. They weren't the type of people for me to go to.
It had to be hard for you.
Because of just the way they were. There's certain people that, because of the way they are, you don't want to even bother questioning them about stuff like that. And because they were so judgmental, so negative, in some ways just, what's a good word? Just not good. Just evil, low down. I'll put it that way.
Wow.
That's low down. Just, they're just not people I can talk to about stuff like that without, something else stirring up. But so I always went to other people for stuff like that, even just learning about something like sex or something like that. I didn't learn it from them. I learned that from outside.
That's interesting.
I did not learn any of that stuff from my parents. Nothing. But they'll be the first one. Well, don't you know this? Well, I didn't say it, but I'm looking at, well, you never told me, so how would I know? We never talked about that. Well, you never asked. You're not a person I can ask. You're not even first of all, I didn't even want to go there, because it would have been just a total, argument back and forth. They're not go-to parents for me to go to, especially my mother. I can't talk to her. I can talk to her, especially back then, and even somewhat now, about anything like that.
Wow.
It is hard for me to ask her for anything. So I always went on the outside. So when I talked about the God thing, of course, I was talking to some people at church or just people just out and about.
So you did go to church, though?
Well, she made us go to church when we were young. And my parents went to separate churches, by the way, which was odd to me. He never stepped foot in her church and vice versa. She never stepped foot in his.
Oh, okay.
He was Methodist. She was Baptist.
Okay.
So I'm like, I thought that was so weird.
So you went to church with her? Or did you split it sometimes?
No, she made us go to church with her.
Oh, okay.
So we all grew up Baptist, going to church with her. We grew up Baptist.
Oh, wow.
I only stepped foot in my father's church one time, and that was because I wanted to see what his church was like. And I was much older then, probably like 15, 16. I'll step foot in a Methodist church just to see I want to see what a Methodist church was like.
Do you know the story behind that? Why they went to two different churches with two different?
No, they never said that. He was just their parents did the same thing. My mother's parents did the same thing.
Got it.
So
that was normal to them.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I concluded to that. Okay, so this is just the way they roll. They just go to separate churches. Okay.
Wow.
But my sisters and brothers, we all grew up Baptist and went to her church. And from there on, I just asked people on the slide, just not just at church, but just different places, just ask about different stuff, especially when I would hear it. Because I even had people to speak into me. Well, girl, you know, you ought to do this. Some lady, I never forget who she was. You are, you know, you are God's child. You know how they get.
Right.
you are going to be something. And I'm just looking at her like, I didn't say anything. I couldn't say anything. I didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
Like, what is she doing? What she mean? Where's she getting this from?
Wow.
I'm like, okay. All I could say was okay, and that was. I didn't know. I didn't know what to say, but okay, and that was it.
Yeah.
I just listened to her because she was serious with it. I'm like, okay.
Aww.
Okay. But they, you know, they had a tendency back then to say what they knew. In some instances, some people feel like they were saying things from and they may be, you know, I'm not saying they aren't.
Right.
We're saying, you know, the Holy Spirit told me you are the one. Told me you are going to be, you know, you're going to be magnificent or something.
Yeah.
Really? Okay. So, you know, when you hear that, especially so young, it made me wonder.
Yeah.
Really? I wonder what they mean.
I love that though.
So just asking questions from there on.
Yeah.
You know, you a little excitement rose, but and then it was just curiosity.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What type of goodness is coming this way and when?
Right.
Yeah, I was just always asking questions. Well, if God said this, then if God said we are healed, then why is so and so sick? Why do we got homeless people? Why, you know, why are they on the side of the street? I don't never see anybody talking to them. Why can't they come in the church? Because in the church we grew up in, it was all suits with them.
Yeah.
You know, dress suits and, you know, pantsuits or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I was in a choir, and of course we wore robes and stuff, but I just didn't understand a lot of things about the church.
Got it.
You know, tithing was one thing. I never even understood what tithing was.
Gotcha.
Never understood so I didn't tithe unless my mother or whoever here put this in church. But I'll just put it in there. But I don't know what I'm doing or what it's for. What are we doing? Why are they asking people for money? You may not even have it. That was my question then. Why? What do you... it was so many questions. I mean,
very inquisitive. And you wanted to know. You wanted things to make sense for you.
And it didn't, because it's like, okay, he's asking us to tithe. What is tithing, first of all? What do we tithe? What is tithing? And then why are we tithing? Who are we tithing to? Okay, don't just ask us to tithe and then we don't even know what it's for. I've never, ever heard an explanation about tithing.
Wow.
And from any church I went to, nobody explained. They were just always asking.
Gotcha.
And why is it a certain amount you're looking for?
Were you involved in anything? Any other? You said you in the choir.
I was in the choir. What are I was in Bible school.
Okay.
Where of course, you know, that was before the service start. I think Bible school was like at 9, and then service time was like at 11.
Yeah, we had that too. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then they never had and that's another thing I didn't understand. After church was over, there was never anything after that until next Sunday or whatever, but there was no small groups outside for you to delve into. There was really nothing else, unless the only time it would be something on the outside, if it was something special going on with the church, like maybe a musical or something on a different day, like a Thursday or something.
Got it. Okay.
But it's never nothing, no ongoing sessions throughout the week, or, you know, something to keep you indulged and keep your mind focused on the word. Because it's like, for me, church back then was just a place to go to. I was always just whatever.
Yeah.
And I was always going to sleep because I was not interested. If you don't keep my interest within a few, I'm gone.
Okay.
So I was just out looking at, now I'm looking at other people watching. I knew who was going to start shouting because they shouted back then a lot at her church. But it was certain people that shout. And I was able to predict who was going to shout.
No, the kids, those kids know. They know who's shouting, how they shout, make
so I knew who I was going to sit next to because I'm like, and so I didn't take it as real because I'm like, if I could predict you, you are not real. I shouldn't even be able to predict you.
So you didn't feel like the presence of the Holy Spirit there, or anything, or the longing to be saved, or none of that type of thing.
I didn't learn nothing.
Okay.
Still didn't know anything. Still a lot of questions about, the tithing, your sermons, questionable. Sometimes I didn't even know what you was talking about because it was never anything that I just really understood compared to what you go through on the outside. I felt like people should be knowing how to live day by day according to the word.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, like, if you talk about, let's just say, what's happening with the world with, a war or something going on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how does that relate to the Bible? Okay, how does, LGBTQ, that's going on now, related back to the word? And they never even really talked about sex and marriage stuff much.
Right.
And these are the questions that mainly you would want to know and have on the outside.
Right.
Because I know I wanted to know about all of that stuff, the marriage stuff in depth, the family stuff.
Even as a kid, you wanted to know.
The sex stuff. Because you're hearing that stuff.
Right. You hear it on the outside
and stuff. Looking at stuff and like, okay. But you don't never hear any about that stuff in church.
Yeah.
I didn't. I'm just saying for me, I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
So I didn't know anything.
Bless
I
your
grew
heart.
up for years just not knowing and not understanding.
Mm-hmm.
I really had to just step away from the church, which I did eventually because I feel like, why am I going to church? When I got old enough, I didn't go to church.
Do you think you were angry back then? Do you think you were angry?
I think so. There was some anger there because it was so much of. I feel like I missed out on a lot because it was so much of not understanding that part.
Yeah.
And then seeing the opposite because the people even were fake after. I feel there was a lot of hypocrites in the church. I know it was a lot of hypocrites. I don't feel I know.
Yeah.
Because they talked about you outside the church.
Yeah.
One minute you're looking at them, praising, doing all of this. The next thing you know, there's totally something else. It's like they put on the church face going in and then they take it off going out.
So you just didn't have a really good taste in your mouth for church or Christians or any of that.
I didn't trust them church folks. I'd rather talk to people on the outside. I'd rather go talk to that homeless guy I knew on the street I saw. Wow. I would have more confidence talking to him than even the people in the church. I didn't trust them people in church.
It seemed like your soul was longing for more, though.
It was like, longing for more.
And that's why when you were seeing all of this and experiencing all of this, your soul was never satisfied, and it did make you kind of angry or irritated.
Yeah,
because
you knew angry.
It was something more to it. Mm-hmm. And so now I just want to kind of I want to hear more about your story or your Woman at the Well journey where, you did meet Jesus. I just want to hear more about that. So just tell us about your Woman at the Well journey or your experience. You told us a lot, but let's get up to the part where, let's get some good news.
Okay, yeah.
Eventually, let's move on.
That was much later on because it was so much. That went on for a long time.
Okay. All right. We'll talk about your story your way.
So the good news is, after all the searching for more and more, and studying, show yourself approved. Read the Bible and show yourself approved.
Yeah.
That's why it says that.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I was doing.
Yeah.
I wanted to know. Now I'm at a point where I just really I gotta know.
Yeah.
So as I did that, it just, that tapered off the bad and it just started more and more. I talk to God a lot by myself. I don't even like to pray out loud much. That's just me. I like to pray by myself with him.
Yeah.
Because I want him to hear me, what I just want to say.
Right.
about personal stuff.
Yeah.
Here's what I have to say. I don't like this. I don't like how so-and-so did this.
Yeah.
Father. But you know my heart. You know how I feel about that. So I started praying like that more and more and talking to him more and more about even parents, siblings, or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to know and see for myself.
Gotcha.
And then you know, at much later on the line, you know, of course, I started going to Victory. At that point in time, of course, I had kids then. So Victory was, I can't honestly say, and I'm not trying to put them on any type of pedestal or anything, but
right.
I can't say they were the first church I finally can sit and actually listen. No falling asleep because I'm too involved and in tune to what they're saying.
Yeah.
Now they're not preaching and changing their voice, you know, up and down, which I couldn't stand either. They're just talking to you. They're not just preaching to you. They're teaching to you.
Yeah.
Teaching you.
For sure.
And they're talking to you like a normal person. That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
And then they're dressed differently. Everybody's not just wearing suits.
Yeah.
And pantsuits. People are dressed just with whatever, but is decent.
Yeah.
Most people.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. Now I'm feeling more comfortable in what I need to hear. And I was always, now I couldn't wait to go to church and hear the next message.
Wow, that's a big difference.
That's a huge difference because before then it was a total opposite. I want to get out of here and just fall asleep and all this. Yeah. I'm not learning anything. It don't make sense to even be here. But now I want to be here.
Yeah.
I can't wait. So now I'm learning what tithing is. Because we got series now. Okay, I can't wait to hear what this series. Right. I'm learning what tithing is. Now he's talking about money. Because I want to know how much should we be tithing? Or what if we don't have the full 10%?
Yeah.
What do you do? Because he mentioned about that. He talked about
they went in depth.
Am I supposed to tithe gifted money? Because, you know, I had questions about that.
Look at you.
I write stuff down, too. I'm the type, I like to write, okay, I got questions about this. I want to see if they cover this. Question about. And then just see whatever. But yeah, marriage and stuff. Are you allowed to do this? Well, what if so-and-so go and do this now? You know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I wanted to know all about that. So, you know, they touched upon that. And they talk about money, which is another huge thing in my book. As you know, Dennis loved to talk about money.
Pastor Dennis. Yeah.
So I was very excited to hear his sermon about that because that was a big thing for me. And which I never heard in any church at all. Yeah. So, those were turning points for me. So now I'm listening and now I'm learning more. I know more now because I hear what they're saying, and then I also go back myself to the Bible. Okay. Because we can't still leave it at their word.
That's right.
So we have to still learn, study, and show ourselves approved.
Yeah.
And then I pray and talk to God about it. I end up older, you know, getting baptized because I did get baptized when I was a kid. Yeah. But that was because I was hell scared. I still really didn't know the reasoning behind that. Okay. But I just did it because they showed us this film of what hell's like. Oh my gosh. And take me down.
And you called it hell scared.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, you mentioned that. Looking at this, they showed what a video of hell looks like.
Right. Now I remember that.
So that was enough to hell scare me. So right. Like, okay, well, I want to get baptized now. Just wait till after church was over. Because I was scared. And just did it then. But again, I didn't really, you know, I didn't do anything else. So I did it again much later on. Okay. And I got rebaptized because I knew more now of what I was getting baptized for. Yeah. You know, those were turning points for me. And then I think even now I know even a little bit more now with studying and having Bible group sessions and small group sessions and talking with other Christians. And then having an experience on my own, you know, about the healing. Healing is another huge area for me.
Talk about that.
Well, healing, after talking with God, on my own and studying, I ended up having an issue with the heart valve, where my heart was regurgitating blood.
Wow.
So it didn't catch up with me until a little later on, but they said it could have stemmed from when I was a teenager. I'm like, huh?
Oh, wow.
I'm saying I've been getting my chest and everything checked for years, and they ain't said anything.
Yeah.
I said, okay. But they told me what was going on, because at the time it was progressively getting worse. And I was actually feeling it. I was actually getting short of breath.
Okay.
This was in 2021.
Okay.
It's when it actually started. The worst, getting worse and worse. So in 2021, I started experiencing shortness of breath. And inflammation kicked in. Because at first I thought I had COVID.
Okay.
And then I thought, I may have long COVID. But when I was taking some remedies I thought would help, nothing was helping.
Yeah.
Nothing at all was helping. But it was slowly but progressively getting worse and worse. I couldn't breathe good. I couldn't walk at some point for a few steps without getting tired and shortness of breath. And that's when I knew something is wrong.
Yeah.
And then the inflammation got worse. I'm like, oh my goodness, what is so I got to the point where I didn't even like the look of myself. I got tired of the way I was feeling. I couldn't stand it. And I told my daughter, who was living with me at the time, I said, okay, we got to go to ER. Something's not right. I don't feel good.
Wow.
And I just didn't feel good. My leg was paining and everything. So I knew it was definitely something else.
Yeah.
So she took me to ER, and she had to help me walk because I couldn't hardly walk good at the time. And when we got there, and that's when they tested and found out